Hi there, my name is Olasan and I'm glad you made it here. So, right in this video, I'll be sharing with you the 4 best pathways for any Nigerian who wants to relocate, otherwise known as japa, to Canada in 2022 or at most 2023. Cool, right? Then let's do this. But wait up, before we dive into the discussion, do you ever get to wonder, why does everyone want to go to Canada? Why Canada? Why Canada? Okay? Maybe these few reasons will help you to understand why Canada is a big deal for Nigerians. Number 1, Canada is a clear path to citizenship and permanent residency. Number 2, Canada has a strong economy with great quality life that shares you with opportunities of no age factor. Number 3, Canada gives you the privilege to spend quality time on things you are interested in and find pleasure in. Number 4, Canada is a great place to have smooth and seamless study experience with privileges to sponsored conferences and research. And number 5 on my list, Canada gives free access to health benefits. I mean, who doesn't like free things? Well, there is no such thing without downside, and Canada is not an exception. Here are the downsides of relocating to Canada. Number 1, the extremely cold weather. Canada can be very cold. Number 2, the cultural differences. Since we share different cultures, it could be a bit difficult to adapt to how to live over there, okay? And number 3, expensive standard of living, especially if you are relocating with your family. It could be expensive, and depending on where you plan on staying, some places can be more expensive than the other. However, what does it even count? Its demerits are nothing compared to its benefits. Besides, Nigerians are wired to quickly adapt to any unusual weather or atmosphere because of their strong immune system. You might start wondering why there are so many opportunities in Canada. Here is why. As of 2020, Canada is a great country with just a moderate population of 38 million people. That means Nigeria's population is times 5 Canada's. Canada boasts of 13 states, which are called provinces, and each province has its own capital city. Meanwhile, unlike Nigeria, Canada is a developed country with technological development and industrial advancements that grow by the day. Canada is home to the world's largest tech hubs, growing and attracting innovative talents from across the globe. Unfortunately, Canada doesn't have all the flowers, just like every other country. Canada, even though advanced, is occupied with a massive percent of aging people, as most of their youths are in other developed countries like the United States of America, UK, for explorations and work. Leaving Canada with a low percentage of workforce, hence the need for foreigners to help fill those loopholes and vacancies. Also, according to Mrs. Joyce, a Kenyan who has spent over 10 years in Canada and has gathered so much experience since her stay in Canada, she affirmed that Canada is a peaceful place filled with so many free benefits and free allowances ranging from weekly to monthly. And for this reason, Canadians don't see a reason to work when they can just sit back at home and get paid without doing anything. Everyone feels they are rich, okay? For example, each child is paid around 600 Canadian dollars every month. That's just the child benefit, and you get the same amount for each of your kids, even if you have 8 of them. Wow, that's like 600 times 8. A parent in Ontario who doesn't work could also earn $1,500 monthly. So no one is ready to work for anyone. They are left with no choice than to settle for foreigners who are ready to help them with these things. Interestingly, their pay is handsome and worth the stress. Most employers even pay per hour. Let's dive straight into the purpose of this video, which is the 4 pathways to Canada in 2022 in no special order. I will ensure to make this video explanatory. Why being conscious of time? Because naturally I don't like long videos. It is always quality over quantity for me, right? So let's get to it. According to research, there are over 80 pathways to Canada. Now you get to wonder why we are selecting just 4 out of 80, right? Well, this is because some work better and faster than the rest, especially in recent times, and considering that we are actually moving from Africa. I have only channeled my research energy into the best ones that work particularly for Nigerians and Africans generally, because these are my people. Maybe you've heard about express entry. It's a cliche, but it is fine if you haven't heard of it. Let me just brief to you what it means. Express entry is an online system used by the Canadian government to organize and process applications for skilled workers who wish to immigrate to Canada and acquire Canadian permanent resident status. So, Canadian permanent residency is just like you securing a citizenship because you enjoy and are also eligible for any privilege a Canadian citizen enjoys. So, if you are able to apply for a Canadian permanent residency and you get one, you get to enjoy every benefit a citizen enjoys. That's cool, right? Express entry is like the umbrella that houses all the pathways to Canada. However, it is often stressful and requires some rigorous processes. The express entry has 3 main classes: skilled immigrants, Canada experience class, and federal skilled trades. To go through the express entry, you might have to pass a certain score before you can be considered, which includes taking an English test such as IELTS. However, having done thorough research, the 4 best pathways I would recommend for every young Nigerian in 2022 are a caregiver or health assistant. I deliberately made this the number 1 on my list, and here is the reason. Canada is not only for learners or graduates, okay? In other words, you can enjoy every benefit Canada has to offer by applying to take care of someone if your certification is just an SSCE or primary school education, okay? A caregiver is someone typically over age 18 who provides for another. It may be a person who is responsible for the direct care, protection, and supervision of children in a child care home, or someone who tends to the needs of the elderly or disabled. So as a caregiver, you don't need to have university certifications. Canadians prefer you to have experience in taking care of someone and be able to communicate well. Don't stress about it. One way or another, you have cared for someone, maybe your grandma, or your aunt's newborn, or your sick uncle self. That's an experience right there. Just get someone to attest to it and you are good to go. So to come to Canada as a caregiver or health assistant, you must have applied for a work permit either as a home support worker or a child caregiver below 18 years who might and might not be disabled but needs parental attention. To go through this route, you need a family in Canada to attest that you can be trusted, so they can sponsor you and bring you to Canada. You work for them for 2 years, then apply for your permanent residency. Interestingly, this route isn't gender-based. It is available for both men and women. For a Canadian to hire a foreigner, they must have proved to the government that they have looked for a local person, that is a fellow Canadian, at least 2 times but could not find any for the job, and that's why they have advertised for a foreigner. To find a Canadian to sponsor your stay as a caregiver, use job banks or frequently visit the website of the province you would love to stay in Canada. Caregivers are in high demand at the moment, and you should take advantage of it, and you can go with your family. Your spouse would also apply for a work permit. I will keep dropping updates on my WhatsApp status about how to relocate as a caregiver as soon as new updates unfold. So, if you think of relocating via the caregiver route, you should always check for more updates on my WhatsApp status. Let's talk about the second pathway to Canada in 2022, and that's scholarship. Okay, so the scholarship pathway is the best for those who are hoping or planning to study in Canada without spending extensively and excessively. However, Canadian scholarship processes vary blatantly from that of other countries. First off, you must be informationally aware. You don't wait for scholarship opportunities, you go for them. After all, luck happens to those who are prepared. Fortunately, there are scholarships for every program. Regardless of your field of study, you only need to be smart in your application. Secondly, you must start a research-based program, okay, rather than a course-based program, because a research-based program will get you that fully funded scholarship you need. Now, I believe many are confused. Let me highlight a bit further. So, research-based programs are distinguished from course-based programs because a course-based program would have you undergo a series of exams in your field of study to prove your brilliancy, and you must get a great score to be considered for a scholarship. However, research-based programs, on the other hand, don't demand a series of exams. What is necessary are your scientific topics. In this process, you get a scientific topic, do thorough research on these topics, get a professor to supervise them, and if you did a great work with that, you will most likely get the professor's approval. What that means is that professor will come in for you, either putting it on himself to sponsor you to Canada or attesting your qualifications to the university authorities for a fully funded scholarship in Canada. Meanwhile, you have to be strategic when making choices about your research topics and the university. Be sure that the university is interested in your area of research. Thirdly, speaking of universities, you must know about the U15 universities in Canada that conduct fully funded research annually and are also ready to sponsor international students. They run seasonal scholarships. You must pick the ones you would love to study at and know when they give out these scholarships. Okay, so these are the University of Toronto, University of Calgary, University of Ottawa, University of Alberta, Queen's University, University of Waterloo, and Western University, among others. About 2 of these U15 are French-speaking universities. So if you can speak French, that's an icing on the cake for you in a university like Quebec, as that could improve your chances of getting their scholarship. Here are 3 things that you must do and must be great about you if you are actually applying for a scholarship. Number 1 is your research topic. Number 2 is your statement of purpose, also known as SOP. And number 3 is your academic CV. I have a long list of Canadian scholarships that I have come across during my research, but my choice to make this video short will not permit me to start listing them. You can do some research by yourself, or you can look out for more updates on my WhatsApp status. I will occasionally write on the documents needed to qualify for scholarships with samples of how to write a compelling SOP. But I'll leave you with this hack, okay? If you want to get to Canada through scholarships, visit LinkedIn and Twitter more often than before and randomly search for professors in your field of study. For example, you could just search for professor in agriculture in Canada. That is if agriculture is your field of study. That's just an example, okay? So follow them up. If possible, read up on their research works. That would give you a hunch on what your scientific topic could be, and you can in turn start building relationships with them. Okay, now let's talk about the third part where I recommend. This is federal skilled trades. The third one is federal skilled trades. So a federal skilled trade is any occupation that requires a particular skill set, knowledge, or ability. Federal skilled workers are people with suitable education, work experience, age, and language abilities selected under the express entry immigration system to apply for permanent residence. In Nigeria, we call these people vocational workers, but they are called skilled traders in Canada. There are 5 categories of skilled traders in Canada. If you have a skill in any of these categories I'm about to mention, then Canada awaits you. These are agriculture skilled trades, construction skilled trades, transportation skilled trades, service skilled trades, and manufacturing and industrial skilled trades. I'm talking about people who are carpenters, electricians, plumbers, pipe fitters, painters, animal caretakers, chefs, bakers, truck drivers, bus operators, etc. To go through federal skilled trades, nomination is vital and it goes a long way. That is, the province you wish to reside must nominate you through the express entry. Nomination by a province is literally the province attesting to your experience in your chosen skill and saying, yes, we need you in our province. Okay, mind you, this does not just happen. You must have proven your expertise in whatever skill you are applying for. And please, you don't want to give false information about yourself. That would ruin your chances. Manitoba province, unlike the rest of them, does not necessarily need you to be nominated by the government or the province. You may only need someone who stays in the province to attest and nominate you, and voila, there you are. Meanwhile, Ontario, Alberta, Quebec, Nova Scotia, and Manitoba don't need you to have a job offer to be nominated. Just ensure that your skill is in high demand, okay? Probably you are a truck driver. Just ensure that truck driving is actually in high demand in your province, and then just apply and hope that you will be nominated. It's that simple. But other provinces warrant that you have a job offer before you are nominated to work in their provinces. According to a reliable source, truck driving is a hot cake in demand in all provinces, as there are limited drivers to help companies convey goods and products. Same cut goes for health workers and chefs. They are in high demand too. To apply for a federal skilled program, you must prove your proficiency in English. You have to prove that you can read, write, listen, and speak. In the same vein, you must tender your work experience of at least 2 years and proof of funds. Now take note of this. This proof of funds is to ensure that you can cater for yourself for at least your first 6 months without being a liability on anyone. Meanwhile, if you get a job offer before you are nominated, you won't need to prove any funds. They believe your company will take care of your finances. So you only get to prove your funds when you did not get a job offer before you are nominated. Alright? I will as well post as I get a handful of information about them from time to time on my WhatsApp status. So let's get to the first pathway I have for you. The first one is LMIA, which means Labor Market Impact Assessment. Labor Market Impact Assessment. So a Labor Market Impact Assessment is a document that an employer in Canada may need to get before hiring a foreign worker. The LMIA document is more or less a go-ahead approval to hire a foreigner who has fit into the work role and is qualified to do the job. A positive LMIA will show that there is a need for a foreign worker to fill a job space. It will also show that no Canadian worker or permanent resident is available to do the job. So as a Nigerian, if you are qualified for the vacant work role, you are expected to use this assessment to apply for a work visa. Jobs that you can get through LMIA include technician, human relations officer, manager, agent, IT personnel, and so on. I mean, the list is actually endless. There are lots and tons of them. If this is for you, you need to start getting familiar with LinkedIn and Indeed Canada. Register on them and turn on your notifications for Canada. You can apply for as many companies as possible. Shooting at many can end you with the option to select which is best for you. Okay, so I would advise you try so many, and then you can end up with at least 2 or 1. However, do make sure the companies you are applying to need you to relocate and not just to work remotely from Nigeria. You will be asked to do the job test. Prepare well, because if you should pass the test, you might as well start packing your luggage in anticipation of relocating to Canada. When you wow the company by passing their tests, they will personally submit their LMIA, proving that they have made efforts to recruit a local person that is a Canadian or a resident over there at least twice, but every effort proved futile, and they might just need to put out the offer to any qualified foreigner. The LMIA process could take about 6 months. When the LMIA is successful, you will use the document to apply for a work permit on the Canadian website. Once the company approves of it, you can relocate to Canada. For work permits, you don't need IELTS, because for you to have gone through the assessment process and passed it, they believe you must be balanced with communications. Okay, now let me just ship this in before the end of this video. There are 2 types of work permits, okay? There is the open work permit and there is the closed work permit. So open work permit actually means you can work with any employer, while closed work permit means you are attached to the employer of the company that employed you for 2 years at least. So if you are going through LMIA, you are most likely to have a closed work permit. Meanwhile, if you are going with your family. Your spouse would get an open work permit while your kids get study permits, both automatically. This is because Canada cares so much about family and they believe in family bonds. Aside the express entry, if you are relocating to Canada to work, you can go via the global talent stream routes, academic routes, agricultural work, caregivers routes, or the Quebec positions. You can just check these things out and read up on them, okay? Just ensure you are always close to information about Canada and ensure to prove yourself beyond reasonable doubt, and Canada will gladly host you. I bet I did not waste your time. I hope this video was worth it and it has helped with some insight about relocation to Canada. You see, it is not even as tough as people exaggerate it. Sometimes, you just have to try things out yourself. I hope you pick at least one of these pathways, start working towards it and start saving up too, because regardless of how fully funded, it is never free. You have to spend on your success too. Relocation could be expensive, but you can make it affordable for yourself by planning and acquiring content that have japa acts, even if it will cost you money. Relocating to Canada is worth it all. In fact, it is worth a fortune. Good luck to you as you make moves to make a better life for yourself and your family. Best regards.